Good morning, children. In this session, we are going to see one important topics in ray optics: scattering of light. What is scattering of light? What are the advantages of scattering? Where does it take place? All these things we will see. See here, topic name is scattering of light. This concept was introduced by Rayleigh. This concept, scattering concept, was introduced by Rayleigh. What is scattering? See here. This is what a molecule, any molecule, nitrogen or oxygen or any other molecule. This is sunlight. Sunlight is an electromagnetic wave. When it hits an atom, what will happen? It emits some energy with a frequency. Frequency means it emits some color. Every color has its own frequency. It emits some color. Suppose sunlight hits a smaller molecules. What will happen? They emit blue color. Smaller molecules always emit blue color. What is scattering? When sunlight hits an atom or molecule, it emits some energy with a frequency. That is called scattering. This concept is called scattering. Smaller molecules always emit blue color. Larger molecules emit white color. Smaller molecules are nothing but nitrogen, oxygen molecules. Nitrogen, oxygen molecules in our atmosphere are very, very tiny. Whenever sunlight hits these molecules, what will happen? These molecules emit blue color. Why? Because blue color wavelength is very, very less. Wavelength is what? The distance between two successive crusts. This is a crust. The distance between these two successive crusts is called wavelength. This wavelength is very less for blue color. Now, red color, if you see, the wavelength is very high. The distance between two successive crusts is very high, wavelength. If wavelength is high, by default speed is also high. Wavelength ekku unte speed kuda ekku untundi. You know the relation, if you remove this proportion, V is equal to mu lambda. Now, if wavelength depends on the frequency is always constant. How to find the frequency? Speed of light by wavelength. If wavelength is less, scattering would be more. Wavelength takkunte scattering chaala ekku untundi. Now we know that one important concept. What is this? Prism. These are vertices. ABC are vertices. Lateral. These are called vertices. Suppose if you focus a white light, what will happen? It splits into how many colors? 7 colors. Again it will come into the air. This is violet color, this is red color. In between V, I, B, G, Y, O, R, all these colors are present. You know that violet color at the top, bottom, and red color would be on the top. Because red color has highest wavelength and highest speed. Refractive index is very less. Refractive index means what? Refractive index means C by V value. Refraction, bending is very less. Here wavelength is less, speed is less, and refractive index is more. Refractive means bending is more. Now actually we should see violet color. Violet color has least wavelength. Annitకంటే తక్కువ wavelength ఉండేది violet color కూడా ఇట్లా ఉంటుంది. But why can't we see wavelength? Why can't we see sky in violet color? Because మన కంట్లో ఉండే మన ఐస్ లో ఉండే రిసెప్టార్స్ we have 125 receptors, right? 125 million receptors in the vitreous humor. 125 million receptors. What are these receptors? Rods and cones. What are these cones like? What is the function of these cones? Cones identify the color. మన కంట్లో ఉండే కోన్స్ ఎక్కువ బ్లూ కలర్ని పర్సీవ్ చేసుకోగలుగుతాయి. వైలెట్ కలర్ని ఎక్కువ పర్సీవ్ చేసుకునే కోన్స్ లేవు. మన కంట్లో ఉండే కోన్స్ ఎక్కువ బ్లూ కలర్ని పర్సీవ్ చేసుకోగలుగుతాయి. సో హియర్ వైలెట్ ఇండిగో ఆఫ్టర్ బ్లూ కలర్ ఈజ్ ద నెక్స్ట్ least wavelength color. That is the reason blue color we could see sky in blue color. ఎందుకు స్కై బ్లూ కలర్ లో కనపడుతుందంటే బికాస్ ఆఫ్ స్కాటరింగ్ ఆఫ్ సన్లైట్ బై ద నైట్రోజన్ అండ్ ఆక్సిజన్ మాలిక్యూల్స్. దే ఆర్ వెరీ టైనీ ఇన్ నేచర్. when sunlight scatters tiny molecules they emit blue color. Now we will see the notes. See here, first step, what is meant by scattering? You also write with me the scattering. Scattering definition what? Tell me Amma, what is scattering? This is an atom or molecule. This is atom or molecule. When this is what sunlight. When sunlight hits an atom, when sunlight hits an atom or molecule, what will happen? When sunlight hits an atom or molecule, it emits some energy with a frequency. It emits some energy with a frequency. This is called the scattering of light. Now, definition I am writing here. You also note with me. When sunlight hits an atom or molecule, when sunlight hits an atom or molecule, it emits some energy. It emits some energy with a frequency. This phenomena is called scattering of light. Please note down here. This is the first one, definition. When sunlight hits an atom or molecule, it emits some energy with a frequency is called scattering of light. Point number 2. Point number 2. Smaller molecules always scatter blue color. Next point. Then larger molecules emit. Larger molecules emit. What are larger molecules? Water molecules. Water molecules. Next ice. Next dust particles. These are emit white color. White color. Please note down better. Smaller molecules always emit blue color. Larger molecules emit white color. Next, one more important formula. Scattering is inversely proportional to 1 by wavelength power 4, where lambda is equal to wavelength beta. Wavelength. Where lambda is equal to wavelength. Once again, scattering. When sunlight hits an atom or molecule, it absorbs some energy and vibrates, so that it emits some energy with a frequency. That frequency is blue color. Generally, smaller molecules always emit blue color. That is the reason sky appears blue in color. Please note down. Clear? Next, one small question note down based on the scattering. First question, question number 1. Why sky appears blue? Why sky appears blue? Why sky appears blue? Answer is very simple. Due to scattering of sunlight. Due to scattering of sunlight by the nitrogen or oxygen molecules. Due to scattering of sunlight by the nitrogen and oxygen molecules, sky appears blue. Second point. See, in our atmosphere, 78% of nitrogen, 21% of oxygen, and remaining 1% carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, inert gases, all are present. This is the second point. Due to scattering of sunlight by the nitrogen and oxygen molecules, sky appears blue. అంటే అట్మాస్ఫియర్లో సన్లైట్ నైట్రోజన్ ఆక్సిజన్ మాలిక్యూల్స్ స్కాటర్ చేయడం వల్ల స్కై బ్లూలో కనబడుతుంది. మన అట్మాస్ఫియర్లో నైట్రోజన్ అండ్ ఆక్సిజన్ ఎంత పర్సెంటేజ్ ఉందా? 78% ఆఫ్ నైట్రోజన్ అండ్ 21% ఆఫ్ ఆక్సిజన్ ఆర్ ప్రెసెంట్. థర్డ్ పాయింట్, దీస్ మాలిక్యూల్స్ ఆర్ వెరీ టైనీ. These molecules are very tiny. When sunlight scatter tiny molecules, when sunlight scatter tiny molecules, they emit blue color. They emit blue color. So, మన ఎన్ని ఉంటాయి ఇటువంటివి? సో మిలియన్స్ ఆఫ్ టైనీ మాలిక్యూల్స్ ఇన్ అట్మాస్ఫియర్. సో మిలియన్స్ ఆఫ్ టైనీ మాలిక్యూల్స్ in the atmosphere emit blue color. Hence the sky appears blue in color. This is the logic behind why sky appears blue. Clear beta? Due to scattering of sunlight by the nitrogen and oxygen molecules in the atmosphere, sky appears blue. Our atmosphere contains 78% of nitrogen and 21% of oxygen molecules. And remaining here 78 plus 21, 99. Remaining 1% carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, inert gases all present. These molecules are very tiny. Nitrogen and oxygen are very tiny. Why? Because nitrogen atomic number is 7. Oxygen atomic number is 8. And indulo 8 electrons, 7 electrons, indulo 8 electrons. 7 protons, 8 protons. So when sunlight scatter these molecules, they emit blue color. So like this, billions of tiny molecules emit blue color. Hence sky appears blue in color. Hence sky appears blue in color. ఇక్కడ ఒక నోట్ రాసుకున్నామా, వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ నోట్. Cones of our eye is very sensitive to blue color. మన కంట్లో ఉండే కోన్స్ బ్లూ కలర్ కి సెన్సిటివ్ కాబట్టి the sky appears blue in color. This is the explanation for why sky appears blue in color. Please note down here. Done? Next topic, listen to me. Second question, why sun appears white? Afternoon ela undama, why sun appears red? Question number 2, why sun or sky appears white? Sun sky enduku white color lo untundi antaru. Now see here, very simple. Atmosphere lo మన భూమి మీద 3/4 వాటర్ ఉంది. Whenever temperature increases gradually 6, 7, 8, 8 am, 9 am, 12 o'clock వరకు ఏమవుతుందంట, atmosphere లో హ్యూమిడిటీ పెరుగుతుంది. అంటే there are large number of water molecules. Whenever sunlight scatter larger molecules, nitrogen oxygen కన్నా వాటర్ మాలిక్యూల్ సైజ్ లార్జ్. ఎందుకంటే ఇందులో ఒక ఆక్సిజన్ 2 హైడ్రోజన్ ఆటమ్స్ ఉన్నాయి. సన్లైట్ వచ్చి దీన్ని ఎప్పుడైతే డాష్ కొట్టిందో, when sunlight scatter water molecules, what will happen beta? When sunlight hits the water molecule, they emit which color? White color. Already I told you, larger molecules always emit white color on scattering. When sunlight scatters the water droplets, they emit blue color. That is the reason sky appears white in the midday. Afternoon sky ఎందుకు white లో కనపడుతుంది అంటే because of sunlight scatters water molecules. When sunlight scatters larger molecules, they emit what color? White color. Please note down the notes. Now first point. When sunlight scatters larger molecules, they emit white color. When sunlight scatters larger molecules, they emit white color. During midday అంటే మధ్యాహ్నం midday, more number of water droplets are present. More number of water droplets are present. ఎక్కడ ఉంటాయి more number of water droplets? In the atmosphere. In the atmosphere లో ఎక్కువ water droplets ఉంటాయి because all water sources, the surface of the water will be evaporated and they get excited and they will be in the atmosphere. Third point. So what will happen? Scattering of sunlight takes place through takes place through water droplets. Hence sky appears white in color. Very important beta. Sunlight is larger molecules and scatter cheste white color, smaller molecules and scatter cheste mani blue color ani cheptunnam. So afternoon water droplets ekku undatam valla sky appears white in color. Please note down. Next question. Why? Question number 3. Why sun appears red during sunset and sunshine? Why sun appears red during sunset and sunshine? సన్సెట్ అప్పుడు సన్షైన్ అప్పుడు ఎందుకు సన్ రెడ్గా ఉంటుంది? ఇది క్వశ్చన్. ఇది కూడా చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ క్వశ్చన్గా జాగ్రత్తగా అబ్జర్వ్ చేయండి. దిస్ ఈజ్ కాల్డ్ ఎర్త్. ఇది ఎర్త్. దిస్ ఈజ్ హారిజన్. ఈ హారిజన్కి మార్నింగ్ సన్ ఇక్కడ ఉందనుకుందాం. సన్ ఇక్కడ ఉంది. సన్ ఈవినింగ్ సన్ ఈజ్ హియర్. ఆఫ్టర్నూన్ ఇట్ ఈస్ జస్ట్ అబౌవ్ ద ఓవర్ హెడ్. Sun do not move. We are only rotating around the sun. Afternoon sunlight directly falls on us. Overhead. Sun is overhead. ఇక్కడ overhead అంటే మన నెత్తి మీదనే ఉంటుంది. Here sunlight takes longer distance to travel in the atmosphere. మన భూమి నుంచి 1000 కిలోమీటర్ వరకు అట్మాస్ఫియర్ ఉంది బిడ్డ. It takes longer time to reach us. Early in the morning and evening, sun takes more time to reach us. Morning, this is evening. This is afternoon. You know that afternoon sunlight reaches just it is overhead of us. త్వరగా వచ్చి మన నెత్తి మీద పడుతుంది. But morning and evening it takes longer distance. So that what will happen? Light ray should travel longer distance here. When light ray travel longer distance, already you know that red color travels longer distance. This is sunlight is a white light beta. White light. White light what will happen? It splits into 7 colors and gives you. Only red color can travel longer distance. That is the reason in sunlight is a white light. Whenever it enters into the atmosphere, except red color, remaining all colors will vanish in the atmosphere. Blue color will be seen by the sky and the remaining all colors will vanish. Only red color reaches our eye. Hence sunset and sunrise, sun appears red in color. During sunset and sunshine, the sun appears red only because of it should travel longer distance. You know that red color scatters least. How to write the answer? Very simple. Chudandamma, why sun appears red? Sun red. First point note down. During sunset and sunshine, during sunrise and sunset, sun appears red. During sunrise and sunset, sun appears red. Because sun is very far from us at these times. During sunset and sunshine, sun is very far from us. So the light ray coming from the sun should travel longer distance. Morning and evening sunlight should travel longer distance. So what will happen when sunlight enter into the atmosphere? When sunlight enter into the atmosphere, remaining all colors will vanish. Vanish means will vanish, and only red color reaches our eye. Only red color reaches our eye. ఎందుకని red color scatters least. So red color can travel longer distance. That's all. Afternoon it is just overhead of the sun is overhead of us. That is the reason sunlight directly reaching our eye. That is the reason all colors are coming into our eye. If you combine all the colors, we could see white color. White color is a combination of all 7 colors. This is the explanation for why sun appears red beta. Please note down. Done? Next. See here, important points in scattering. వాళ్ళు ఒకసారి రిమైండ్ చేస్తారంటే scattering. The concept of scattering. Who introduced the concept of scattering? Beta? Scattering concept was introduced by Rayleigh. Who is that? R-A-Y-Ray, L-E-I-G-H, Rayleigh. R-E-Y-Ray, L-E-I-G-H, Rayleigh. He is also scientist, Rayleigh. What is scattering? When sunlight hits an atom or molecule, it emits some energy with a frequency. Sunlight ఏదైనా ఒక atom ని మనం హిట్ చేసినప్పుడు atom ని molecule హిట్ చేసినప్పుడు it emits some energy. This phenomenon is called scattering. Scattering is inversely proportional to what? Scattering is inversely proportional to 1/4th power of wavelength. Wavelength means the distance between two successive compressions or the distance between two successive rarefactions. This is called crust, this is called trough. Crust spelling C-R-E-S-T. Wavelength. Wavelength is highest for which color? Red color. Red color has highest wavelength. Red color has highest wavelength beta. Least wavelength తీసుకుంటున్నామా? Violet. Least wavelength is for violet. But why do we see the blue color? Wavelength of blue color is very close to the violet, and our eye is very sensitive to blue. Our eye is very sensitive to blue. Eye is sensitive to blue color. Next, smaller molecules. If sunlight scatters smaller molecules, it emits smaller molecules emit blue color. Larger molecules emit white color. Remember better, this is what important points. Once again I remind you, the concept of scattering was introduced by Rayleigh. When sunlight hits an atom or molecule, it emits some energy with a frequency is called scattering. Scattering is inversely proportional to fourth times of lambda wavelength. The distance between two successive crusts or troughs is called wavelength. Wavelength is highest for red color, least for violet. But violet we cannot see because in our eyeball 125 million receptors are there. They are called cones and rods. Cones, our eye cones are very sensitive to blue color. That is the reason we see sky as the blue color. When sunlight scatters smaller molecules, it emits blue color. When sunlight scatters larger molecules, sun appears or sky appears white in color. So, why sunset and sunrise? Sun appears by red color. Sunset up to sunrise up to enduku sun red color lo untundante red color least scattering of red color it travels longer distance. That is the reason only sun appears red in color. Remaining colors all vanish in the atmosphere itself. This is about scattering of light. దీన్ని ఇంకా కొంచెం ఎలాబరేట్ చేసి చెప్తామమ్మా. Let us consider the size of the molecule is small a beta. Small, this is the size of molecule A అనుకుందాం. If the size of the molecule is very A, then wavelength is lambda. If size of the molecule is very smaller than the wavelength, molecule size is smaller than the wavelength. This is what wavelength. Wavelength means the distance between two successive crust or troughs. This is called wavelength. Wavelength కన్నా తక్కువ ఉంది అనుకోండి, AE size of the molecule is less than the wavelength. Molecule is very tiny. This is the molecule, invisible. These kind of molecules, sunlight scatter these kind of molecules, they emit blue color. Suppose A is larger than the wavelength, then it emits white color. Remember children, very simple. Wavelength kanna ekku unte, size of the molecule ekku unte, that is called white color. If A molecule size is very small than the wavelength, they emit blue color. Remember this. This is what scattering of light. This is useful for grade 10 and grade 11, grade 12. All these concepts, beyond this there is nothing important point. Remember, in numerical scattering is inversely proportional to 4 times of the lambda. This is what important topic in ray optics. Please note down.